Did you know we had a king who came and united all black and colored people of the world? Well, here's some black history you did not know. So in 1928, Regent Rastafari was crowned Negustafari. But then in November 2nd, 1930, the Order of Melchizedek was put back in place. Negustafari was crowned King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, simultaneously with Empress Menen Asfar, and this reshaped black history as we know it today. On this day, he became Emperor Haile Selassie, and this is very important because he was from the royal line of King Solomon and the Queen of Sheba. And as you can see here, Americans came 6,000 miles. Also, all the kingdoms of the world sent their representatives bearing costly gifts to take part of this coronation. So this is a big ceremony. It's not nothing little at the time. The whole world is there, but they try to hide this from black people. So, it took black newspapers like the Chicago Defender and others to highlight this so that we were made aware. As you see, it says, picture of Rastafari crown Haile Selassie, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, which appeared in W.E. Du Bois' Crisis newspaper. So this was getting around in the black community, but we had to do it ourselves. People wonder, what's so important about that? Why all these titles? What does all this mean? See, in 1493, there was a document that was put in place called the Doctrine of Discovery. This is also called the Papal Bull. The Pope put this in place, and this is how we have the world that we have today. So when y'all say we're colonial, we're colonized, and this, that, and the third, understand that this is the reason why. Because the Pope claims the highest authority on the earth. So on November 2nd, 1930, that authority was removed. There was now a higher authority on earth because Emperor Haile Selassie claimed his throne based on his descendancy. See, if you read this for yourself, it says, the bull stated that any land not inhabited by Christians was to be discovered, claimed, and exploited. This doctrine of discovery became the basis of all European claims in the Americas, as well as the foundation for the United States Western expansion. And here's where religion becomes law. In 1823, U.S. Supreme Court case Johnson versus McIntosh came a unanimous decision that held that the principle of discovery gave European nations an absolute right to New World lands. In essence, American Indians had only a right of occupancy which could be abolished. See, all this is a big deal because throughout Kemet history and throughout all our history, there's been a perpetual star king. There's always been a prophecy around a star king. Kidamari Haile Selassie being born July 23rd, 1892 on the rising of the Sirius B star was very, very peculiar, and the master astrologists in the Vatican, they knew what was going on. So although they did things like this behind closed doors, trust me, they were not happy about it. See, all throughout history, Ethiopians always represented a staple of people. Even their greatest historians like Herodotus and like Homer, they even describe Ethiopians as the most just of men, the favorites of the gods. And classical literature makes it clear that the region from Egypt to India was called by the name of Ethiopia. So let's get back to black history. See, black people in this time, we knew what was going on. We were in Jim Crow. We needed help. So we were prophesizing and coming up with this stuff before it even happened. There were articles like this coming out. Negro Universal King coming to rule the world. We felt the energy. It was happening. 5 years later is when the war hits. So now here's where it gets sticky. The whole Africa, you can see, they're all colonized. The whole Africa is colonized. Ethiopia is literally the last thing left. And you have Italy and Eritrea, and you got Italy and Somalia. Up here, Mussolini making war with the king. We're not going to talk about biblical prophecies or anything like that. We're going to talk about the facts. But this is what's going on in 1935, and it gets real sticky. See, most of us, especially here in America and all places, right? Because we say, oh, there's the first Chinese were black. The first Americans are black. The first Mexicans are black. Whatever. We say all these things, right? But we have no proof. And the reason why we have no proof is because we've been colonized. They destroyed history. They destroyed temples. They destroyed this, that, and the third. So at this point in time, Ethiopia is literally the last place on earth that has not been colonized. And this king, who's from the Bible, who has all these prophecies around him, comes and has to face the most powerful army in the world, and he rises to the occasion and he saves history left, because if they take Ethiopia, they take the whole Africa, and maybe today would be a little bit different, but I'm going to show you how he comes and unites all black people. Now I want y'all to be in the mindset to understand what was going on. So Emperor Haile Selassie is facing the biggest army in the world. They have 1,800 rifles. They walk around barefoot and all these things. But at the end of the day, he makes a statement that's very important. He puts titleage over us. He makes a claim over us and gives us his authority. As the last sovereign nation of Africa, the only thing left, he makes a statement. He says, I am not only the emperor of Africa, I am king of all Negroes everywhere, including those in the United States and other foreign domains. The Italian warlord is trying to destroy the last best hope you have on earth. What did he mean by that? Your last best hope you have on earth. I just explained it to you. If they take Ethiopia, they have the whole Africa. That means they have the potential to erase that fact that we even know we're from Africa at that point in time. I know black people don't know where we from, and we have a hard time. I'm indigenous to America and this, that, and the third. But at least we know we got Africa these days, right? Things could have been different depending on how this war went. So by him giving us his claims, his titleage, his royal lineage, and saying that he was our king and we were his subjects, we were removed from the delegation of the papal bull that I showed you, because the Pope previously claimed us and we lived in his reality. But now we were getting a new claim over us, and we must accept this claim now, even today, because they have a 1493 claim over us, and this claim was made in 1935. Now, I couldn't find a date on this article, but I just wanted to prove that it was well known back then who he was and how he represented all of us. It says right here, Haile Selassie, when he was crowned, became supreme monarch of 498 million of the darker races, and that means Puerto Ricans, Filipinos,